evening, everyone. Happy Friday. Hope everyone is good. So tonight I'm going to be talking about lavender oil, which is kind of the Swiss Army knife of essential oils, and it's known it is really the queen of essential oils. If frankincense is the king, then lavender is certainly the queen. So I'm going to be talking all about how to use it for yourself and your pets. So I'm Dr. Helen. I'm an A&E doctor and an advocate for integrative wellness, as well as an animal aromatherapy specialist. And I love to use essential oils to support the health and well-being of myself and that of my pets, and helping educate people to do the same for their family, whether that's human or animal. So if you like what you're listening to, please hit the subscribe button or follow so I can carry on creating more content, and let me know in the comments what you want to know about. So would you like to get essential oils into your life? Why not book in for a free chat with me? Find out a bit more about how they can help you or your pets, or come to one of my classes to find out how essential oils can support you, or maybe you've got oils but you don't know what to do with them, or how best to use them for your pets. So that's okay too. So I do general overviews as well as full consultation. So drop me a message and we can chat about what's best for you. And I'm going to have coming up, my next animal event is actually, I think it's going to be, I might fit one in between, but I'm not sure, but it's going to be a senior pet challenge. So it's all about supporting your senior pet, and we're going to be looking at nutrition, we're going to be looking at exercise and mobility and sort of cognitive function, because they're sort of like the key areas. So do check out for the event. It's not live in my events yet. I probably will put it on tonight, so it should be live, but you can have a look in the link in my bio, and if you're registered for my newsletter, then you'll hear about it as well. So lavender. So this is really a must-have for you and your pets, because there's so many ways that it can actually help. So I think everyone's really familiar with it being sort of for calming and relaxing, and so it's a good place to start there. Now, lavender can promote the release of oxytocin, which is like the cuddle hormone, and so it can really help your pets feel soothed. And you can either add sort of a couple of drops to your diffuser and help them unwind. I've dropped a drop on bedding or just on the floor, and really just seen an amazing result. But it's really important to realize that 50% of dogs actually don't like lavender. They just don't like it, and often it is in sort of generic formulas. If you've got a remedy spray or something, it features in there, and so often it's not the fact that the spray's not working, it's the fact that the dog doesn't like the lavender that's in it. You can hear little bams down here. He loves lavender. So it is important to be mindful. Now, what you do tend to find is that the puppies, the really young puppies and the older dogs, tend to like lavender, and it's kind of the cohort in between. So it's just really important to be mindful of that. And so that's often, like I said, why things don't work. And it's really important to be mindful of the fact that lavender is the most adulterated essential oil in the world. And in actual fact, the sales of lavender is much greater than the production of lavender. So that it's obvious that lavender that is out on the market isn't proper lavender. And you can really tell the difference. Have I actually got a lavender? After all this, have I actually got a lavender in my thing? And when you smell a really real pure lavender oil, it smells completely different to some of the other ones, and it is just the most amazing oil. So do bear that in mind. And it is such a safe oil to use with everyone: parents, pregnant women, children. Now, it was interesting, there was something that came up on a question a while ago about lavender, because there's been this often on lavenders that are not pure, it will say don't use in pregnant women or children, and it's actually a really safe oil that you can use in those groups. So when you see that on a label, it does make me question why it's saying that, because it is a really safe oil to use in those groups. And that's why I'm a big fan of the doTERRA essential oils, because I know that they've got this amazing purity, and their attention to detail is so strong, and they do all this battery of different tests and third-party testing as well to ensure the purity. But there's two. So one, they say that it's not safe. Sort of other brands will say, oh, it's not safe to use in pregnant women and children, which is incorrect. So the doTERRA one is safe. And so it does make you question what is in these other brands. But the other thing that's worth mentioning is there was a really poor study done a few years ago that actually looked at some children who'd had lavender, and they tied the symptoms and some hormonal disruption with the lavender. But in actual fact, what they didn't do was they didn't look at anything else to do with the children. It was a really poor study that wasn't replicated. I think it had a very small number of participants, like 20, so not statistically significant. And they didn't look at any other factors in these children. They didn't look at nutrition. They didn't look at any other illnesses or anything like that. It was a really, really poor study. I've got more about it in my blog post, so it's definitely worth having a read of that, which is on my Healthful Doctor page. But it was a really, really poor study. So it's a really great, get a good lavender. It's like the doTERRA lavender. It's a really good one. Okay. Now, if you've got a dog that doesn't like lavender, or perhaps a lot of men, I think, don't like lavender either, petitgrain's a really good alternative, and I love it because it's very fresh smelling citrus, and it's actually distilled from the leaves and twigs of the bitter orange tree. So another favourite alternative is Balance Blend, and I always feature Balance Blend in my calming kits for dogs, especially, so that we don't have that problem with lavender, because Balance is such a great one. But it's a really great one for, like I said, if your dog likes lavender for calming and soothing, it's absolutely great. And it's really good for supporting your dog, especially if they've got canine cognitive dysfunction. So that's like doggy dementia. Because it's promoting the release of oxytocin, the cuddle hormone. So do check out whether your animal likes it. And it's safe to use in your cats and your bunnies. I've always got, actually, Holly's not made an appearance today, but she's always around my cat. And she really, really likes lavender. Absolutely loves it. And my bunny Doris would love lavender as well, and I used to use it a lot with her. She really used to like it. She used to like the citrus oils as well, but she used to like the lavender, and I'd used it in so many different ways, and it worked a treat, especially if she needed some emotional support for gastrointestinal issues, or when she hurt her hip, just to support her as well. It was absolutely phenomenal for that. And so bunnies, you'd be looking at sort of diluting it with always dilute with fractionated coconut oil. For bunnies, something like 1 drop in 10 mils dilution, which is similar for cats. And then you can go up to 6 drops for a larger dog as well. Now, interestingly, something to point out about the doTERRA oil as well, it is actually viewed as the gold standard of lavender because it is actually used in clinical trials worldwide. And a pharmacology journal has actually written about it as well. So it is a really, really good quality oil. And like I said, once you've smelt it, you really and another lesser quality oil, you can really tell the difference. So doTERRA has this standard called CPTG, which stands for Certified Pure Tested Grade, and it is just phenomenal. So moving on from calming and soothing, let's talk about the skin, because it is great for soothing the skin, and it will soothe any imperfections at all, and it's a great for assisting with little scrapes. So my little Bambi, my little paraplegic, sometimes he can get a few little ouchies on his leg. He didn't have his drag bag on today. We were in the secure field, so I always check his legs over, but it's great for that. I've got Springer Spaniels as well, so it's not a walk if they don't come back with something bloody, and so they always usually have a little bit of lavender just to soothe them as well. It's great for seasonal threats as well, as it can be very supportive with antihistamine-like abilities, and so can be very beneficial, especially if your pet doesn't get on with the environment, skin-wise. It can be really useful in that circumstance. It's also a natural flea repellent as well as other critters as well, so it's great for diffusing. So if you're away anywhere and you don't want any of those bugs coming around, you make sure you're diffusing lavender. It's great, and you can apply it topically as well when those seasons come a calling and you just don't want anything there. And it's really nice because I've been using essential oils on my dogs now for about 3.5 years, and since I've been using them, I haven't been troubled with fleas at all, which is phenomenal, because before that I still was using natural remedies, but every year I would have a flea infestation, and I haven't had a single one for 3.5 years now. And I do rate it because of all the oils I diffuse in the house. My home is just inhospitable to fleas, so it's absolutely brilliant. And I do credit lavender with absolutely being fantastic for keeping little critters away. Now, one thing that's often overlooked with lavender is its ability to soothe the musculoskeletal system. So do consider that if your pet is needing a little bit of support. It's absolutely phenomenal in that area, and you can just apply it directly to the area in question as you can to you. I love putting my lavender on myself at night. I put it on my back, on my chest, and on my feet as well, along with some frankincense to help me sleep. And it is absolutely lovely. And it just, like I said, it just smells absolutely beautiful. And I always have it in my camper van and things like that. So as I said, it is good for so many different animals. You know, my cat Holly loves it, my bunny loves it, my dogs. All my dogs really, really love lavender. And I've really noticed as well, it was really interesting. One of my dogs was getting really agitated over something, and I was actually trying it out to see whether it would work, because she used to get really agitated whenever I used to sit down and have my breakfast. So I literally got my lavender oil and I dropped a drop on the floor. And she literally was like, oh, yeah, and she just settled. And so every breakfast time I started to just put a drop on the floor. And we don't have to do that now, because she's got into this habit now where she doesn't do that, because, you know, but that's how I stopped that habit, was literally by using lavender oil in that way. So it is absolutely, like I said, it is absolutely phenomenal. Lavender, you know, we will be talking about this in my Healthful Dog Challenge, which is going to be on senior pets. I think it's going to be called the Healthful Senior Dog Challenge, maybe we'll call it that. And like I said, do keep an eye on my events, because it will be coming up. I'm going to hopefully put it on my system tonight, so you can see the link at the bottom of the screen, and that will take you to my events page. And do check it out, because it is just such a phenomenal oil, and everyone should have it, and it's going to be great for you too. I can't even begin to tell you the times that I'm popping lavender on my hands when I've got back from work and they're all chapped, or I just need to relax, and putting it at the back of my neck, and it's really, really good. So I hope that's given you a bit of an idea of how phenomenal lavender is in so many different ways, not just related to calming and sleep as well. So if you've got any questions, do drop me a message and I will get back to you. Have a beautiful evening. Stay safe, stay well. Bye.